Post-graduation diploma in management versus MBA. Which one would you like to choose from? So here is the thing. In today's podcast, we just want to understand when we are debating between PGDM and MBA, often there is an uncomfortable question because we are sitting here in 2026. In a management degree, still the smartest choice, what is for a 22-year-old? Is it really worth to invest about 15 to 22 lakhs for his course? Because today's generation is not about knowing what their ambition is. They just need a clarity, where is the map? So that's how we are going to make sure we have this clarity by the end of our podcast. So thank you so much for coming here for our podcast. I welcome you with us. Thank you. So the main part is you both are coming from a very different industries. One is from academic and the other one you are from industry, which is more relevant towards corporate. So we need to know your understanding when students are Googling right now around this admission season, what kind of course you think is right for them and why when it comes to post-graduation diploma in management versus MBA, because accidentally we don't want them to take any kind of decision and then later on they will regret about it. So one of the common question is AICTE approved, AIU equivalent, NAC accredited, NBA certified, students are drowning in all these acronyms. Which of these actually matters when companies decide to come for campus placement or they want to look out for a job? So sir, please, you can tell us in a start.
Okay, I would like to take this. So yes, the accreditations what has been prescribed by the Ministry of Higher Education. So whenever any student seeking for admission in any reputed organization, the accreditation matters a lot. So the accreditations like NAC, it is basically related to the UGC and other affiliated institutes, which are affiliated to the university or respective universities, as well as the maybe the private universities or can be the autonomous institution. Whereas when we talk about the AICTE, so all professional programs that comes under the AICTE. So AICTE is the body which we call All Indian Council for Technical Education. So they take care about programs like engineering, MBA, postgraduate diploma in management, and other professional courses. And AIU, talking about the AIU, it is a all Indian universities. So any private universities or any other autonomous institutes who are having the stature of awarding the degrees, so they need to become or they should be the member of AIU. So that is what about the AIU is. So many a times the student, they keep checking about the grades, yes, the NBA accreditations, and this particular certifies the institutes that with the level of quality education which has been provided along with placement and other facilities which are required for taking the right education, so that will help them to have their right career choice in the respective institution. So that is what the purpose of all this accreditation is.
Sir, so I have a question again related to this same part. Has the industry already moved on from this academia level of certifications and degrees?
So actually, AI has totally changed the landscape, how people should look at MBA or PGDM. I have been interviewing people for last 35 years, and what has happened is the world has moved from what qualification you have. It does matter, obviously. So that's why you're going to do the MBA or a PGDM. You should. A 22 years old or a 24 years old guy, first I would say that you should be very clear what you're going to do. So if you are going to go for a job, then the decision might change. And if you're going to start a business, then again the decision will change. But if we have to compare a PGDM versus a MBA, companies are now looking at skills more than only qualification. So qualification does matter. But once the Ivy League kind of colleges, like top 10 are left, otherwise they are looking at good talent. And that matters more than anything else. So if I had to summarize that in one line, what is that matters most is that your skills and how you can actually do the job for the companies. Companies only for filtering what they don't want, they will scan the biodatas or resumes with AIs now, and after that it is the personal interview. So you should be ready for that. And I take MBA or a PGDM as a rocket launching pad for you, which you should be preparing not after you pass the MBA or PGDM, but from day one you are preparing for that. And I'll give you more information later on, but if you have to summarize, companies are looking at what you can do more than only qualifications.
Great, thank you so much. Lovely clarity. So followed on, we have another question. Once I had this discussion with a senior HR person, and he told me that, Dr. Namika, nowadays we don't even care which degree do they have. We actually care about the brand of the college, like which kind of college they come from. So is that really a relevant point that he made?
Yes, talking about the brand, yes, it matters because there are other stakeholders who are associated with every brand, which includes the best recruiters, then the best industry experts who are the part of that particular organization and who gives the guidance and advice in a right way to the institutes. So you can take an example of all recognized institutions or the brand in institutions. So we should take it in a positive way now. Institutions or the education institution has realized that all the stakeholders are very important. Early days, education was only the thing which used to be given and in a very orthodox way. But industries started demanding for the innovations, of course, and then they started um, one of the parameter whenever the accreditations are happening. So this particular accreditation is now driving this institution to onboard the industry people and other experts, so that the quality things strategically can be planned and the same thing can be implemented in a very effective manner, which indirectly or directly benefits the learners at the institution.
So I have one add-on question. What makes a college a branded college?
Yes, good question. So when we say the brand, so of course your alumni speaks about your brand. The students talk about your brand. The teachers are there who are ensuring the quality education, which is helping the students to shape with their career and their skill sets, where they are benefited for their recruitment. With this brand, the industry gets associated with you. The consultancy projects are being well attracted based on the quality of the teachers. Yes, at various institutes, these experiments are happening very positively, and there is a good synergy of industry and academic collaboration, and that is how makes the brand, where you don't need to talk about you, where people talk about you, and that is how the branded institution we can just highlight in that manner.
Great answer. Thank you, sir. So suppose if there is a student who wants to have a choice, like he has to make a choice between joining a consulting firm versus having a startup right from the seed basis. So does the brand college name, does it really matter at that time?
So actually, I have a slightly different take on this. Brand does matters to get inside or get into a job, but after that, it is your performance. Now, your question related to if you're going to go for a consulting firm or a company or a corporate job or a startup, I have a very strong feeling that the startup need a different kind of a mindset to actually start and then take the business ahead. Whereas the corporate now, MBAs and PGDMs, they are preparing a candidate for a corporate job more than a startup.
Right, sir. Yes, you did. You did. So, as a student, now I'm just asking on behalf of students who are going to watch this. When I'm going to join a management college, I'm sure like both of you have also coming from so much of experience dealing with management institutes and colleges. So, what exactly these management institutes have given you or you have gained from them? And part two is, what was it that they did not prepare you with?
I'll answer the second question first here. There are a lot of things which are required for a person to go into the world. I'll give you a small, how do I count it? So I take this management course of 2 years as you can divide that in 5 parts. The first part, or the 20% part, is only the academic part of it, the portion part of it, the theory part of it. The other 4 parts I take for the person. He should take that as a warm-up session for getting into the world. So the question was, what is that was expected from the college for the student so that he is ready and prepared for the world. Now, the college gave theory or knowledge, and they gave an opportunity or a reason for you to prepare yourself for the world. If you have not used that time and you use only to study the theory part is getting a little outdated now because of the AI technology, and everything is changing so fast that whatever you've learned yesterday may not be valuable tomorrow. Now, the knowledge part people can get through AI, but it is the decision making, the critical thinking part, the problem solving part, the people part is what is required, which is not taught in the colleges, and that is so very important. The networking part, you have the opportunity of a college. Being in the college, you have the opportunity to go with projects to companies, interact with them, form the network of students and their parents and their friend circles. So you have a 20% of theory, then you have a 20% a warm-up time in the college 2 years to actually develop your skills, flex your muscles, exercise those muscles, then go to the next part of actually developing the skills what you'll need to make you more valuable. Now that valuable part, the college can tell you what is valuable, they can give you the theory part, but that development part is your duty. So once you do the warm-up, you do the skill development part, then you have packaging, your packaging is required. So if you don't do that, what is happening is when you go to the companies for interviews, what happens is they fail over there. They've got good marks, but they fail over there because they are unable to present themselves to get absorbed in the company. And even if they get selected in whatever way, they are unable to perform if those practical skills are not there with them. So what they didn't teach, I think the MBA colleges fall short over there a little bit. Not all, but many of the colleges, they have a MBA, but they don't give those or impart those opportunities to students, and they only focus on the theory and the papers. Whereas a lot of PGDM colleges, they have those projects, they have those activities which are given to them, the internships. I seriously feel that the students should take that opportunity, that he is a student, he goes to the industry, he takes that opportunity to meet people, network, and package himself and present. Now, if that, whichever college is giving more of that, you should select that to progress your career. Otherwise, it's going to be theoretical and it's of no use.
So I'll just add to his answer. So when we are talking about aligning yourself with the industry, so basically things start with the institution should know their strength, that what are our specialty, what are our strengths, and then accordingly with whom we should bridge those particular gaps or with whom we should collaborate. So what we do, basically been into the academics, so we collaborate with the respective organizations. Say for example, as we offer some specializations like AI and data analytics, then again we have the HR, marketing and all. So as per this specializations, maybe the finance also, we had listed the companies who all are there who can onboard our students for this particular program. So this is what every institution should also give the thought, that what are our strengths, what we are offering, and what are the industries we should collaborate with. So this helps to bridge a good gap between this industry and academics, what happens. Then it creates a lot of opportunities for the student, and you onboard the respective industries with the institution. So their industry skills or their demand is been well understood by the institution, and accordingly whatever the skill sets are required, so they should be upskilled with those respective programs, which can be offered maybe with the open elective form, maybe as the optional or maybe add-on certificates. So this really helps, and this is what the experiment successfully we had done at the institution. So under the postgraduate diploma, there is an opportunity where the curriculum is articulated as per the industry standards. And at the same time, when we talk about the MBA, so in the MBA, they are mostly affiliated to the parent universities. And the parent universities board of studies are there who are defining or they are working on the articulation of their syllabus. And this is been as a what we can say, this has to be implemented and has to be followed as it is by all these institutions. These are the limitations. So somewhere that flexibility is not there. And then this creates the big gap. Knowing your organization strength or institution strength and mapping the same thing with the industry. So this really creates a lot of difficulties for the student also that way.
So I'll have just few honest questions here. Every student and parent, they want to invest in their child's education. Even students are willing to learn. And here in our country, there is no limitations to learning. When it comes to learning, people are also equally concerned about the ROI, the return on the investment. So these days, even colleges are being selected or shortlisted by the students and family members if the college is giving them an option to earn while they learn. Right. So, do you think that this method, considering PGDM or MBA courses, is more relevant now?
Absolutely. If the college gives that opportunity to do the internship and actually earn, those students will be way ahead of the other people who have not got that opportunity. Why? Because then, even if you say they have a 6 months or a year's experience along with their learning, they're going to learn over here, they're going to apply over there, and that fine tuning actually happens real time. So it's the most valuable, I would say. And if a college is providing that opportunity to you, and then deputing a person who will guide those people, the students, to actually do a good job on the field, I think that is the best thing can happen to the student, and I would highly recommend this.
Yes, sir. So adding to this, the experiment what we had done and successfully it has been executed now with your thoughts only. So as we onboarded people from industry, from reputed institutions also. So we basically tried to justify and we tried to give, pivoted the things like our earlier postgraduate diploma management. So this program was being executed with the classroom teaching, and then there was a short-term internships. So, but then the industries gave some feedback that even if the internships are offered for 3 to 4 months, so for industry that is not the sufficient time. It takes time in nurturing and all, and then hardly they get acquainted with this. Yes, there are selected students who get placed, but not everyone was able to crack the interviews also. So we just tried to modify that particular curriculum, and then we came out with this earn while you learn with the hybrid mode. So there are contact sessions along with the online program subjects also, and then they get the ample time, like for more than 7 to 8 hours they can spend in the industry, and this is well perceived and even accepted by the industry also. So they're getting the good opportunities, they are being paid for that. And as a result, over the 6 months time or 12 months time, so they get well acquainted with the industry environment and the kind of things what they are doing. So the industry also gives the responsibility to them. They involve in their core projects, and at the same time they are being assured. The industries are assured that they are with us for the long time, and these long time associations convince them to onboard, and as a result, so they are being well absorbed, and what type of placement is expected. So accordingly, they are been getting those opportunities. They are opening the door. So that is how the thing is there under this particular pivot. What we did. So this particular thing we realized when I was just wondering, and as we all know, the medical science education. So they get an opportunity along with the education. They have to spend a sufficient number of hours in hospital, and that is how they get acquainted with all this practice and the profession. And same model we try to replicate here that way.
I would like to add over here and also suggest and recommend to the colleges they should do two things, which is I have not seen in the colleges, is they should have a module of training the people, the students, how to give interviews actually and the presentations, which is not done to the extent what they should. That will prepare them much better. And the other thing is, if the institute can offer a kind of guarantee in the sense, if we come out with a course module or we have some specialized courses, give their students a lifetime come back and learn free opportunity to come and attend a lecture. Now, if an institute, I'm telling from my experience, when we told this, the people, the industries who are taking our students in their companies, we told them we have a facility that our student for lifetime, he can come and attend the sessions, lectures, whatever we have, the industry leaders coming in, the talks, they can come and attend for free. The student feels that as a support, and that support, and even the corporate thinks that, the institute is backing the student. Now, the immediate impact of that is the student feels supported after the college also, and he feels that he can come back and attend the lectures. Whether he comes or no, it depends on him. But some people do come. And that guarantee, the corporate is ready to absorb that person much faster. He says, okay, if I need some training, they tell them that, okay, do you have, your institute is taking a course on this, even a weekend or one lecture, that adds tremendous value. And if your institute is able to incorporate that, it makes a huge difference. And I'm telling you from my experience, I'm talking about the top 5 companies in India where we implemented this. The corporates were ready to take our candidates immediately. They were ready to give feedback, and the students immediately took admission into the institute because they knew that the backup for them, the support for them is lifetime.
Right. So course basically is taken on the feedback of the corporate companies.
Those two parts. One is that we told that आपको अभी अपने कोर्स हमारे यहाँ से किया, हमारे यहाँ पे स्पेशलाइज कुछ भी मॉड्यूल या सेशन रहेगा, उसका इनपुट आपको आएगा. You can come back free. So our institute say, I'm doing a marketing management, but our institute invites, for example, me for AI के लिए हमने एक session रखा है. That information goes to the student. He's working in the company. The company knows that this fellow can get continuously. So without the continuous training or updation, how will he do good? So he has an option, comes back to the institute for 2 hours, does the course, goes.
बेसिकली कॉर्पोरेट का भी उस कंपनी का भी ट्रेनिंग कॉस्ट आपने
बचाया, उसको अपडेट करते रहा, और ये स्टूडेंट को क्या लगता है कि आई कैन गो बैक. नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस इज, उसका इम्पैक्ट ऐसा है कि द स्टूडेंट कीप्स इन टच, he announces, so he is like a viral buzz for the college lifetime. So he says, I'm going to go over there, तो वो बताएगा लोगों को. He attends, then he goes and tells. So and the corporate knows, then he'll say, अरे ये वाला तो दूसरा कॉलेज में नहीं है, मैं इधर से लूंगा ना, इसका ट्रेनिंग का बच गया.
10 years from now, will the comparison between PG Diploma in Management, PGDM versus MBA, will this really matter? We are in 2026 right now. So in 2036, will this really matter?
Matter in the sense, both will have their different perspectives, okay? How the offering has been done. Again, as in my earlier question also, I answered that. So unless and until the MBA institution get the autonomous status, so they won't be able to bring the innovation in the curriculum. So few MBA colleges recently just they got the autonomy and they are experimenting, but still they need to come out with their mindset, because what I had seen closely with such autonomous institution also, they are adding some skill courses, but still they are not collaborating with the industries to get a good synergy of the academic and industry at place. Whereas the PGDM still matters. The PGDM is having the flexibility. They onboard the industries, they design the curriculum, and then accordingly whatever the skill sets or whatever the things are demanded, as Mr. Jayant also mentioned in one of his answer, that what industry needs, if we are delivering it and if we are shaping those particular students, so yes, they get the benefit out of it. And this is what, for few years, again maybe for another 4 to 5 years, this particular gap will still sustain there.
That every college is struggling with the admission when it comes to taking admission in PG diploma courses or MBA courses. We also see the trend of AI. There are so many content we see on Instagram, LinkedIn, that these days even doing a master's is not so necessary, in fact. So how does industry perceive this and how does academia perceive this?
I think this is a very, very valid question, very important, and the person should be able to answer this question. Uh, if the college or the institute is unable to give you those skill sets or that opportunity, then, and if the ROI is not calculated, then that money is going in drain. Leave aside those top 10 institutes where the brand name is there, which will be a stamp for you, but otherwise you need to calculate how much money you're spending now. Otherwise, if you're unable to recover that money in like 5 years, then you're not going to get the ROI for lifetime. So that is very important. And to answer your question about the MBA or PGDM, I would say that it depends on the person's, it's like a filtration. The top guy is going to go for the top institutes, obviously. But 95% of the people, you are going to decide based on if you have the money and which college you can afford. In that case, you have to go for the college and you have to calculate the ROI. If you're going to get the ROI, return on investment, look at their past students and the reputation, and then select the college. Otherwise, you're not going to get the ROI. If you're going to spend 20-30 lakh a year in the fees and you're going to get a job of 6 or 7 lakhs for first 5 years, then you've already, that ROI has gone. Later on, whatever happens after 5 years, nobody's going to ask from where you did, because if you were from the top institute, you would have been somewhere else, isn't it? So ROI matters. You remember this ROI and then decide.
I'd like to add to this. Basically, whenever any student or the parent, they take their decision that I'm planning to invest 20 lakhs, 15 lakhs on my kid, okay, for his betterment and higher qualification. At the same time, institutions should also take the responsibility that whatever the student invests should be covered at least with his first offer with an average. So say for example, if 15 lakhs is investing for 2 years, so his ROI, so either through the internships and placement or through internship itself, as you mentioned, and while you learn, so he should recover at least 30% of the amount from there. And post his completion of the degree, whatever the 70% of the amount is there should be recovered through that particular final salary, what we can say. So we at the institution, we just calculate when my student is investing around 7 to 8 lakhs. So I have to ensure that when he is passing from here, he should get the placement of minimum 7 lakhs.
But अगर student ही ready नहीं हुआ, he doesn't want to work, he wants to have his own startup, then what institution will he?
Yes, good question. So again, at the same time, the mindset of the institution, they also need to see, innovation is the continuous thing which should be done, right? So startup should also be practiced. You should have the entrepreneurship cell at the institution.
And what about that mindset where usually this happens in women universities, So girls are like, they just want to buy that 2 years of their lifetime before they get married to. Okay. What is your take on that?
That is a different thought process. Of course, there is a social aspect also. Parents invest, if my daughter is learning in with this particular degree. So of course, the partner, what they prospectively they are looking into, should be of that particular stature. तो ये social consensus बोलेंगे उसको. When you're talking about the professional consensus, so that is what I mentioned earlier. So there are two aspects. So in India, basically, there is of course the thought process in all the families that when I'm investing in my student ward, right? So maybe for medical education or for any other education, there is a calculation of ROI. Everyone has the calculation of ROI. And with that aspect only, every parent's expectation is there that my ward should be at that particular level. He should be groomed, he should be prepared in that way. But at the same time, institutions are not able to deliver at that particular level. When you go for the undergraduate program, I will just out of this particular context. So at the undergraduate level, we have the mass education system. And in this mass education, the colleges are not able to deliver. Engineering colleges, you see some 5 to 10 lakhs averagely they invest. But it is very difficult to get the jobs. And now with the disruption of AI and all, so it has become a responsibility now that you have to get into the different innovative programs so that you will be able to place them and justify the ROI. What
Can I highlight one fear also? So one of the common fear that we are observing is that because of the AI, because of the cloud, because of so many AI products, in fact, it is much easier to gain knowledge through AI rather paying this fees to a college and then coming and learning from here. How exactly the student will, what exactly that student will be gaining after investing so much in their post-graduation studies, which they will not be able to gain from the learnings they can easily have just at a tap of their finger through it.
So, very, very good question, valid question. You need to understand that it is not only the knowledge part of it. There is social interaction, there is networking, there is opportunity, which is given from the college. Okay, if it was only knowledge, people would have read books and they would have got jobs. It doesn't happen. So what happens is there is a discussion which happens, there is an interaction, and the networking happens. And if the person is not looking at networking and he wants to just go and get the knowledge part, it's the importance is going to go down with the AI. Okay.
So for example, then sorry to differ here, we also have networking programs where every young birds, Gen Zs are invited. They can just talk about their startup ideas. What about?
So the startup idea get-togethers or this thing is a totally different thing. Not everybody is thinking about a business at all first. So 80% of the people are going for jobs. 20% of the people who go, I'm just taking a 80-20 Pareto principle. The discipline part is not there. If you see the Gen Zs, what is the most problem or the statement which comes first from the corporates as an employer comes is that the Gen Zs are not disciplined to work for so long. And they find it difficult because they are getting easily distracted. Okay, so knowledge is one part. Okay, but discipline to work and working those focused, So I have a word which my guru and he taught me. His name was Chet Holmes. He was working for Charlie Munger, and Chet Holmes coined a term called pig-headed determination and discipline. Okay, now that is a success secret. Now, if a Gen Z who's being continuously distracted by AI or phone and so many other things happening in his life, now he needs to focus what he wants to achieve. If he has the objective and then he needs that focus, if he's not habituated to actually work, that is a problem. You can't make him sit in one place and work on that particular project. There is a deadline to finish for a corporate. If that is not there, now the college gives you that. You have to sit for long hours, complete the projects. There is a time frame. You have to prepare for the exams. You have to prepare for the assignments. You have to give the presentation. That is not going to happen on its own because the Gen Z is not prepared for it at all at home. And if it was just meeting, they're going to chat and not talk about the main thing, the objective and the process. So it's the whole thing. I would say it's not knowledge per se which you can get from the AI. It is a discipline which step by step gives you the logical steps to follow to reach the solution. It is a critical problem solution or deciding ability which needs to be developed, and that happens in the college. So that those 2 years is that preparation part. It is not only knowledge to able to give an answer. Now the AI will give it. Okay, so how do you develop the other part? You develop because you have assignments, you have projects, there are groupings, the person goes and does the work, he comes back, then it is actually, you get a feedback. a person who's on his own, he doesn't get a feedback. He thinks he's right. Where in the college, he will get a feedback from the professor, he'll get a feedback from other students. When he does, he can see 10 other people doing the project. That comparison is continuously happening. That equation is happening, which is not happening for a startup. So I was a first generation businessman. I started immediately after college. I thought I was the smartest guy. And after 1 year, I realized that it is not the case. Okay, now I am a serial entrepreneur. I've started 15 plus businesses. Okay, now 15 is a big number if you see, and I was successful in almost 12 of them. 3 I stopped not because they were not successful, because I had better options and better money in the other businesses. Having said this, what happens is the startup, the thinking process is a person who's going to do a startup or a business, he's actually unemployable. Many of the times he's unemployable. I'm unemployable because my independent thinking is so strong. And if that is not there, and you need a person who's continuously telling you what to do, then you should do a job. So your question, whether that person can do, if he is totally unemployable, he has to go into the business. But if he doesn't have that discipline, he's going to fail in the startup. And that's what is happening. 97% of the people will fail after 5 years. 80% of the businesses fail after 2 years. Why? Because they don't have the discipline. And that you need to learn in the college. So I would say that you do this, be ready to get a feedback, apply that feedback, and then go ahead. If you're not doing that, you're not going to go ahead. So you're going to fail in the startup. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Yes,
So adding to it, basically when we talk about Gen Z's discipline, so I'll just give some alternate word for it. They have the energy. Even the industries need to change their job roles also. It's a high time now in this disruption of AI. There won't be the 9 to 5 jobs required, or people at place you need them for 9 to 5 hours. Because as we are into the fast moving world with AI, what earlier manually or with the semi-automation, the things which used to happen over the weeks or over the months, which AI can do it for in 2 hours, the things can be done. So the Gen Zs, they will be coming out in a very different role. First of all, the very important role will be talk to the machines. They should have these skills, how to talk to the machines. Okay, because everything will be done by the machines almost. At the same time, they need to be nurtured with one of the very important thought, that you are going to be the independent entrepreneur. So what it means actually, I'm just projecting this on this podcast now. Okay, that independent entrepreneur means you will be a kind of service person. You will be selling your skill sets to multiple companies, the same skill sets
Gigs,
to the
you want to say
multiple.
gigs, kind of gig?
Gig only, yes. So that you don't have to consistently, or you don't have to dedicatedly be there at office space for 9 to 5. In your space, you will be working, you will be delivering, and you will be just done with this. And this is how the type and the nature of jobs will be changing now in the future. And of course, so in this AI world, so industries also need to change their psychology. They need to change the things, that how we have to get the work done from the employees, and what should be the criteria. Even at the government level, employment related things needs to be changed. Of course, that is other part can be discussed. Okay.
Great. So now we have come towards the end of our podcast, and now we only have some rapid fire questions. One word answer is what we are expecting here. Very quickly, PGDM or MBA, what is good for a first generation entrepreneur?
PGDM.
PGDM.
Which produces better leaders, or is like a leadership unteachable completely?
So, of course, today if you'll ask, it is a PGDM. Okay, PGDM is with the perspective of leadership roles, and that is what. So PGDM, yeah.
So I'll select anybody who can do the job. It doesn't matter whether it's MBA or PGDM. Yeah.
Individual, actually.
Yeah.
In one word, please describe what is it that our Indian management education system is lacking right now? In one word.
Bridge, connect to the industry.
Exactly.
And immediate adaptation of what is required.
Still, we are lacking the bridge.
Absolutely.
We had the same, like we have been seeing this gap for many years now. Yeah. Okay. One institute you would personally bet your money on for PGDM or MBA?
My institute, I will say. Not to be biased, it is the Uma Krishna Shetty Institute of Management Studies and Research, where we innovate, we keep innovating the things, and we keep delivering the best of it with the synergy with the industry.
Would you like to agree with him?
I'll skip the answer.
Okay. So, is management degree ultimately about knowledge, network, or a certificate?
All.
All three?
All three.
All three?
They are the pillars actually.
Okay. So, we'll just close this podcast now. Maybe the real debate was never about PG diploma in management or MBA. Maybe it was only about to understand what is more relevant and needed for the students who are looking for a career after their graduation. So I believe this podcast is going to help you take a decision. Make sure you take the right decision, whether it is PGDM or MBA. Thank you so much.